Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game 120 versus Romantic. This game taking place here on Northern Isle. 120 spawning as the blue undead on the bottom left-hand side of the map under the name Orange. Meanwhile, Romantic Fortitude spawning as the yellow human on the top right. Should be a great game for all of us. Let's go ahead and see what is in store. It's getting to that 2-minute mark, always the case. Altar of Kings Barracks Farm being placed down. Meanwhile, Altar of Darkness Crypt and Tomb of Relics being placed down with a ziggurat. For all you guys out there in the know, I am keeping track of the supposedly large WarCraft 3 Reforged 2.0 patch. Whatever that is, whatever it entails, hopefully it is good news. There was a survey that was sent out a couple months back about what Blizzard should do with WarCraft 3 Reforged, what they possibly wanted and needed, and well, the problem with WarCraft 3 Reforged right now is you only have one chance to make a first impression, and the first impression of WarCraft 3 is always, gonna be negative. The internet is when I Google WarCraft 3 Reforged, like the questions that automatically pop up are like, why is WarCraft 3 Reforged bad? How can they fix it? Like, all of those are the questions that people on the internet are asking, and what Google is, has cataloged as the common gripes. So it really is out there. Why it failed, how it got really poor reviews, and even now I don't think I see anyone really using the higher definition graphics. Some of the things that I've noticed about WarCraft 3 Reforged that I didn't like in terms of perhaps the animation and trying to keep track of the characters, I also saw in Stormgate, surprisingly. So Stormgate having a lot of my similar gripes as WarCraft 3 Reforged in terms of, well, like how the game should look. I think WarCraft 3, this version, the classic version, actually looks better than currently Stormgate is. I think a lot of people would agree with me that the version of Stormgate is just a little bit odd here. All right, Death Knight holding that position there, trying to stop. There's another Death Coil. We're seeing the peasants just trying to work right there in that little narrow corridor split. And are they going to be able to hold it off? There is another low hit point peasant. Peasant going to get taken. No, down, denied again by Romantic. Some beautiful play. Death Knight is sitting at level 2, but the majority of his experience came from creeping. He didn't get that many peasant kills. I believe I saw 2 to 3 denied there, so a very high level play by Romantic and 120. Let's focus on the game at hand. Sorry, tangents. I'm just looking forward to, well, what to do with my free time when I do have some free time, besides looking for work. Anyways, coming back around here, Archmage gonna be clearing up some of these creep camps here, getting to level 3 most likely. No, actually a sliver shy. Gonna pick up a Mantle of Intelligence, and that Puript of Vitality on an Archmage, so incredibly important, especially as the Death Knight gets to level 3 and the Lich gets to level 3. Once that happens, having an Archmage having a little bit more base hit points helps out tremendously, as any human player knows what it's like to be on the receiving end of a Death Coil Frost Nova. All right, meanwhile, Death Coil inbound. Death Knight, is he going to try and save that Crypt Fiend? Yes, he is. Crypt Fiend down to 233 hit points, trying to retreat back now. The Archmage wasn't going to really, be able to finish off that Crypt Fiend, just put a little bit of pressure onto that Death Knight. 120, however, most likely wanted to wait until the Death Knight got to level 3 before trying to Death Coil. All of this is about mana efficiency and being able to push at the right opportunity and time. The Crypt Fiends are all, well, a little bit worse for wear, and this is a strong timing attack by Romantic, knowing that, well, the Undead does have this Halls of the Dead here as the upgrade, but he hasn't really gotten any of the tier 2 units that he wants in order to be able to win these battles. All right, we're looking at another Death Coil finding a Crypt Fiend here. The Water Elemental, triple Water Elementals into this push here. Archmage doesn't have any more mana, and you can see the footmen are really diving on in here. The water elementals slowly making their way back. We see Nerubian towers, and this is incredibly aggressive. This is perhaps a one-way ticket in. Archmage is going to try and back away here. We're going to see some skeletal minions get popped off there, but that's not what he was really looking for. Romantic pushing in heavily into an undead base. Death Knight gets to level 3. No acolytes were really lost. A couple of Crypt Fiends were taken down, but the Archmage is still staying just at level 3, using up a replenishment potion now. Perhaps he was thinking that, hey, even if it fails, I have a replenishment potion to get hit points and a mana back, and that should be enough. The downside of this, though, is that, well, a lot of low hit point footmen are now needing to heal up back at base, and those footmen who were lost in battle. Scout Tower, Arcane Tower now done here, dropping another water elemental. You can see that, well, the Archmage had rejuvenation and a clarity potion and the scroll of regeneration all going on for it at the same time. Archmage is looking to perhaps try and push back here. Guard Tower is now done, and with the Guard Tower and also the Arcane Tower, damage should be flowing pretty freely. Meanwhile, the footmen perhaps going to try and flank from the other side, but remember, those lower hit point footmen not back up north of 300 hit points as of yet. These buildings are taking a little bit of damage, superficial damage for now. Undead has this problem of trying to attack buildings right at tier 2. The Crypt Fiends are not going to usually be enough here, as the footmen should be coming in from behind, perhaps trying to cut off this retreat. There's some repairs getting underway. Archmage finding things here. In comes the footman. No surround onto the obsidian statue. I thought that would have been for sure a definite case, trying to surround that obsidian statue. Now finding a Crypt Fiend, but, well, 5 footmen surround on a Crypt Fiend, not really holding up. Obsidian statue now trying to retreat back away. Archmage getting in front of it. Should be able to get some attacks onto that obsidian statue there. Obsidian statue down to, well, oh goodness, Archmage down to 11 hit points, gets finished off by the Crypt Fiends. The movement speed of the Archmage not enough. Mountain King, well, not even being trained yet, and I believe that was a missed opportunity by Romantic to get a surround onto that obsidian statue, take it down, and since the obsidian statue, well, for one, cannot get Death Coiled healed, and also the footmen do not yet have defend yet. There's a scroll of regeneration. Archmage gonna be able to heal up nicely. Meanwhile, repairs are still underway on this arcane vault, trying to hold things together. Masonry upgrade is actually completed, so the masonry upgrade helping keep this arcane vault up with another point of armor, well, to keep things at bay. Well, it looks like Romantic is saying, you know what, if you want, let's try for a base trade. How do you feel about that, as the human army now jumping inside into the base here? Archmage does not have a water elemental inside here yet, but he does have a lot of footmen running about. All right, you can see peasants are repairing this here slowly and steadily. Death Knight now making its way down to the bottom left, as the Archmage is going to be able to drop some ghouls or perhaps do some damage here. There's a death coil onto the ghoul to try and keep it alive. That ghoul getting a little bit of an overheal as the water elemental now being dropped. Acolytes, two acolytes were 2 acolytes still up, 3 taken down, or 2 running away. 1 was taken down here, as the footmen are trying to stop a bit of the mining here still. Meanwhile, still massive repair. Militia coming back in from the far side here. Mountain King could come over and engage as well, as the footmen are taking quite a bit of damage. Are we going to see that obsidian statue taken down? Come on, one more shot. Yes, finally gets taken out here. Archmage going to use the Scroll of Town Portal, head back out here, and with this, Mountain King should be able to Stormbolt, and, well, oh, the Scroll of Town Portal doesn't go to the Expo as I originally thought it would, to perhaps reinforce. All right, more damage coming across onto that arcane vault again still. Mountain King coming back over. Clarity potion given to the Archmage, and Scroll of Regeneration being used. Double workshop, dual barracks, as flying machines and knights will be inbound. Arcane Tower should really be trying to hit the obsidian statue if possible, as the arcane vault about to get taken down. All right, what is happening here? Death Knight now coming back over with a couple of skeletal minions. Archmage, Mountain King perhaps going to try and come in from behind here and cut off any sort of reinforcements. There are a lot of towers here, as the units are going to try to dive in, realizing that the tower's range is quite large. 700 on the guard tower, 800 on that arcane tower, able to get in a little bit of feedback here. All right, still healing underway. Archmage is sitting at 550 hit points, going to perhaps rush off to the north. You can see the blacksmith is still taking quite a bit of damage. Repairs are going to be necessary, and this is just trying to be patient to figure out when you can perhaps try and hit. And here we are, here you go. Archmage drops a water elemental only to see it, see a destroyer come back up immediately. Timing on this attack is going to be huge, as Romantic is just waiting for the castle upgrade to start training up more flying machines and also get those knights. All right, going in for the engagement now. Archmage looking to back up here. The blacksmith needs to stay alive, otherwise knights cannot be trained. Knights are not being trained for some strange reason. Perhaps doesn't know that the castle is up. All right, damage is starting to rack up here. Still 37 supply compared to 12. 45, 47 now, as it feels like Romantic suddenly training a bunch of units back at home, realizing that he has that tier 3. All right, more pressure coming across. We can see level 1 masonry upgrade holding that blacksmith at bay. Archmage, Mountain King, Footman do not yet want to engage, and that means that blacksmith will end up falling down. A new blacksmith will be needed as the knights are queued up and ready once more. All right, there's a Stormbolt onto the Death Knight there. I thought blacksmith was needed for knight. Is that not the case? I thought it would have canceled this one. Or was it already queued up? Or is that something that only happens in StarCraft 2? Anyways, coming back through. Lich up to level 3. Dark Ranger now has black arrows. Paladin getting trained up here. We're looking at, well, dual workshops. Knights, or 2 knights out onto the battlefield. Perhaps animal war training could be thrown in the mix as well. Paladin going to be picking up a Staff of Sanctuary and a Potion of Healing. Flying machines still nearby to give a little bit of sight. All right, Romantics Expo is just taking an absolute beating. Guard towers poking back around. Arcane Tower finding that Lich, feeding back much of the mana. Now going after the Lich again. So that Arcane Tower is really, trying to cause problems. Meanwhile, Archmage, Paladin, Mountain King, they're going to finally come across to engage here. The Arcane Tower finally gets taken down. And, well, more peasants are going to get trained up here. All right, guard towers continuing to poke. Militia now coming back across, and now in comes the battle here. All right, flying machines finishing off the destroyer quickly. Now that the flying machines have done that, there is nothing yet on the ground. Militia now perhaps going after some of those Crypt Fiends, as we see an obsidian statue in the back. Stormbolt onto the Lich here. Holy Light trying to save some other units. Are we going to perhaps see another Stormbolt on another target? There's some frost armor onto the Lich. Lich could be in trouble. No, not going to be in trouble with a Potion of Invulnerability and a Death Knight. 120 is going to be able to hold on to that Lich pretty easily. Fly Machine still having no new targets. This obsidian statue in the back perhaps going to try to double back around somehow in some way, shape, or form. More knights still getting trained up here. This obsidian statue taking the long way home and maybe able to get there. All right, more damage getting added in still. We see a knight right there. You can see that there's that obsidian statue. Fly Machine's trying to catch it. Is this Fly Machine going to get spotted? It will, but not giving into the chase, as the Crypt Fiends are now diving back in once more into the main base. All right, that obsidian statue, well, there and back again, just moving around the map, and is going to be able to get repaired. A Dark Ranger gets up to level 2 now. We're looking at some damage trying to dive in onto those knights, diving onto those Crypt Fiend from the knights, but the Crypt Fiend able to slip by, and then another Death Coil for another big heal. Staff of Sanctuary now is now on the Archmage. Is he going to send back one knight, as this knight should be ready in for the battle as well? No, still no animal war training yet. Some more damage onto the Town Hall. Staff of Sanctuary is saving up a low hit point unit, ready to dive in. There's a Stormbolt onto a Crypt Fiend. Death Knight does have enough mana. Is he going to save that Crypt Fiend? He will. And, well, that's just the name of the game now. Frost Armor, Death Coil, big heals, and big damage, even though knights do generally counter those Crypt Fiends. The obsidian statues keeping the heroes all topped off. We've seen this time and time again. That obsidian statue essentially having the power of the Archmage's Brilliance Aura, and a more effective one at that. In terms of how much mana is generated. Stormbolt trying to find another Crypt Fiend. Frost Armor slowing down the Knights. And, well, the Knights trying to dive back in. Is the Knight's going to end up falling? Nope, Knight doesn't end up falling. Crypt Fiend falls. All right, bunch of low hit point Crypt Fiend. That's going to be the low point obsidian statue. Crypt Fiends now Knight trying to chase after these Crypt Fiends. No Sundering Blades, remember. The Knights just need to get in the damage, try to go after these targets. Knights do not have apparently that fast of a movement speed, as this Crypt Fiend is about to get taken down as well. Meanwhile, this Expo has constantly been a sore point But Romantic has been very calculating in that. He's been allowing it to take damage, but it's still providing quite a bit of gold. Yes, it is also, however, providing experience to the undead, as a lot of peasants have been taken out time and time again. Mountain King at this point is still only sitting at level 2. Holy Light for the save. Dark Ranger gets Storm Bolted, gonna get a Death Coil, 400 hit point heal. We're 16 minutes into this game, and the Mountain King is still only sitting at level 2, meaning those Storm Bolts are not gonna be nearly strong enough to finish off any of those units. All right, Staff of Sanctuary saves another low hit point. Mountain King still trying to catch up to another target, perhaps finish off another unit. Are we gonna get a Lucky Bash or anything like that? We haven't been seeing any of those, as the Crypt Fiend's starting to get low on mana. Mountain King perhaps trying to save one in the chamber. There's another Holy Light there as the units are backing away. There goes the Knights diving in onto the backline and able to take down an Obsidian statue, as the battle's still rushing on through. Frost Nova onto a low hit point Knight. Meanwhile, Crypt Fiend falling at the hands of another Knight there. We're going to see some more damage. One more shot. Crypt Fiend going to get taken down. And now that Knight about to get taken down as well. One more shot. It gets taken out. Both sides are just losing lots of units, as the Mountain King, down to 33 hit points, doesn't use the Potion of Healing in time. And, well, a little bit lost there. All right, Paladin still alive. Staff of Sanctuary is available. Crypt Fiends, well, retreating back. Only one Crypt Fiend left now. And the Abomination trying to chase after a low hit point Knight. Paladin can get a Holy Light on there if necessary, as the Obsidian statues in the back want, well, Romantic wants to be able to just dive in on them. There's more Frost Armor. It looks as though the Lich is going to be in trouble. Lich has a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability in time. One Knight going to get taken down. Abomination taken down as well. There's a Holy Light trying to save the Knight there. More going after the Obsidian statue, as well, there goes one Obsidian statue there. Knight also gets taken out. And this game has just been the game of heroes. If you're not a main character in this story, well, you don't have enough plot armor to, well, protect yourself. Archmage heading back, perhaps going to head back over to the expo, which looks very, very sparse. There are a handful of Knights ready to rejoin in on the fight, though, and with that, the Paladin, the Paladin and the Archmage, Mountain King, should have been resurrected a long time ago. Perhaps a delayed resurrection based on the timing here, as the Paladin now needs to head back. All right, plenty of Crypt Fiends here. Archmage, well, trying to get away. Archmage is the weakest link in this position. There is a Holy Light trying to come back through. What is the Archmage going to do? Death Coil finds... Ooh, beautiful, beautiful Staff of Sanctuary for the save there. Paladin could be in trouble. He gets a Potion of Healing and stays alive, and now the Knights are pushing back the army once again. The Obsidian statue is trying to dive in on to, or excuse me, Knights trying to dive in on the Obsidian statue. A little bit of a trailing move there. Beautiful Staff of Sanctuary saving the Archmage. Archmage also still benefiting from that Brilliance Aura, will have decent hit points and mana after all is said and done. Now, 120 has about 4.5 minutes of mining left in the main base, and the expo has about 6 or 5.5 minutes of mining, maybe 6 minutes of mining there. So timing is going to be key. 120 could go do that classic undead unsummon all in with his units, but he's sitting at 55 over 60 supply right now, meaning, well, he's mining 7 gold a second compared to his opponent's 14. That's always a problem. You want to try and stay out of low upkeep if possible, unless you are in the 60s at least. Being in that mid to low 50s is just an uncomfortable spot to be in. Peasants, well, getting shut down here. Obsidian statues taking a little bit of damage. Water Elemental doing a little bit of poke here. The Obsidian statue still healing up and providing mana for all of the undead units. Thank you for the follow. Level 4, level 2 compared to 5, 4, 3. What's good? The stream is... Oh, nope. Okay. Well, thank you for following, just so you can say something on the chat. Anyways, coming back through, Crypt Fiend going to go ahead, end up taking down here. Knights are diving in, 63 supply compared to 52. There's a Staff of Sanctuary saving again. Mountain King needs to start getting some Storm Bolts off. Oh, that Crypt Fiend right there just in time, getting a 600 hit point heal, but it was the Stormbolt really went after the Abomination. Another Staff of Sanctuary there. So dual Staff of Sanctuaries are doing quite a bit of work. Mountain King could go after some other units. The Staff of Sanctuary should be on cooldown, and there goes one Abomination getting taken out here. Meanwhile, more Knights going to try to come over reinforced. There's a Stormbolt again, and damage is still racking up. Another low hit point Knight does get taken out. Death Knight seeing that level 5 Lich is at 4. Dark Ranger still at Dark Ranger still at 3, and we're still fighting our ways through. Dark Ranger and Lich kind of doubled up on each other. They're kind of difficult to spot. All right, going after these Crypt Fiends. Just fight one, get some hits in. There's one down. There's Death Coil on another. Gonna perhaps go after another Crypt Fiend there. There's another Holy Light. More damage getting racked up. There's a Staff of Sanctuary for the save. This Knight is just going to the wall, going deep, trying to finish things off, taking down another Obsidian statue again. 63 supply compared to 41. It looks like the Undead Army was unable to, well, handle the sudden reinforcements of Knights. Romantic got 12 to 16 supply of Knights onto the battlefield, and then suddenly bursted them onto the scene, completely catching 120 off guard. That is better than having them come in a single file line, only to get picked off slowly but surely. So being able to calculate the reinforcements and the timing, absolutely huge here, as the Mountain King sitting at level 3. This might be one of those weird instances where Human is going to be able to beat Undead, even though Human has lower hero levels. There's a Death Coil onto the Lich, another Potion of Invulnerability transferred. Stormbolt, Holy Light, taking down the Death Knight, and that is going to be the game. Look at this. Hero scores, well, deeply favoring 120, a 5-4-3. And remember, at the start of the battle, it was a 5-4-3 going up against a 4-2-2. But the Knights, even without the Sundering Blades, which were given to Knights in order to handle Crypt Fiends, even without those Sundering Blades, their faster movement speed overall, even though they look to be moving pretty slow, always getting that Frost Armor debuff applied to them when attacking Crypt Fiends, able to outlast. So, and the fact that the Lich really never got to level 5 was perhaps the biggest deal there. The Archmage, the Paladin, the Mountain King, all fairly fragile heroes, but well, they were all fairly fragile heroes. Archmage, with that Pure of Vitality, was able to stay alive a couple of times as well. And then a beautiful use of that Staff of Sanctuary. Once a lot of damage was applied to, say, said hero, or more often those Knights, they were just taken out of the fight. And, well, it feels like 75, 150 mana, 225 mana used on a single target, only to know that it was staffed back home. It was going to slowly recharge those hit points and then come back out onto the battlefield. Let me know what you guys thought about this game below. Let me know who you thought played better and deserved to win. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.